Okay, quick question. Have you ever heard of a reality show happening on TikTok? Like, not your usual TV or YouTube show, but on TikTok itself? Sounds kind of wild, right? Well, that's exactly what went down with Time Turner. This isn't your average K-pop trainee story. It's all about how TikTok became the stage to create a K-pop group. Crazy, right? Let's talk about Time Turner, the first ever TikTok-hosted K-pop survival show. Picture this. No glitzy sets, no big-budget theatrics, just raw energy and a quirky charm that screams DIY K-pop. Operating on what feels like a $50 budget. Yes, you read that right. This show brought a whole new vibe to the K-pop scene. It's like someone mixed TikTok culture with reality TV chaos and called it a day. All right, so here's the deal with Time Turner. It's not just your usual K-pop survival show. It's got this crazy, out-of-this-world concept where they're looking for the next big global stars. But here's the twist. It all happens in this imaginary space-time world called P134. Think of it as a magical place where anything can happen, and dreams can literally come true, with a bit of time travel magic thrown in. Cool, right? The contestants are called floaters because they're kinda like wanderers, searching for their chance to debut as stars. The MCs? They're the captains, guiding the show and connecting with the audience, kinda like your chill captain steering a ship through the chaos. And you, the fans? You're Polaris, the shining stars who help guide the floaters by voting for them before and during the episodes. Here's where it gets interesting. The concept totally takes us back to those old-school girl group searches, but with a fresh K-pop twist. Think Produce 101, but on a DIY budget. The floaters, they didn't have it easy. Filming sometimes went from sunrise to the next sunrise, leaving them completely drained. Cameras caught every moment of their exhaustion, which only added to the drama. And let's be real, a bit of entertainment for us. The performances were judged weekly, sometimes by a panel, sometimes by the global TikTok audience. Can you imagine that pressure? These contestants gave it their all, perfecting every move and note, but the production? Well, let's just say it had its moments. Microphones acted up, live voting screens had tantrums, and the voting system? It was like a glorified Google form. Chaotic? Absolutely. Iconic? Kind of, yeah. At the end of it all, the winners will debut as Time Turners, a group that's all about traveling through time and making music and art. Sure, it's a little messy, but that's what makes it so much fun to watch. It's raw, unpredictable, and has this scrappy charm that somehow works. Despite all this, the contestants gave it their all. Sure, it wasn't as polished as traditional K-pop survival shows with their million-dollar budgets, but the charm was in its messiness. Watching the performances felt like you were at the most intense karaoke night of your life, raw, real, and unexpectedly entertaining. And hey, while we're talking about unexpected entertainment, how about supporting this channel? Hit that subscribe button to keep up with more deep dives into K-pop and beyond. It's quick, it's free, and it helps bring you even more fun content like this. The runtime of the show? Well, it was between 2 to 4 hours, kinda a lot, right? But honestly, it only added to the intensity. Every episode felt like a marathon, not just for the contestants, but for the viewers too. You couldn't look away, even if your attention was constantly being pulled in different directions. And let's not forget the crowd-funded naming process for the final group, because why not add more unpredictability to the mix? Honestly, it was so chaotic that you couldn't look away. Love it or hate it, this show has officially proved one thing. K-pop can thrive anywhere, even on a budget that barely covers your daily coffee and a basic smartphone. The chaotic and raw nature of the live performances stands in stark contrast to the highly polished productions typically seen in traditional shows. With minimal editing, the performances carry an authenticity that showcases the contestants' genuine abilities, including their imperfections. While some struggle with pitch and coordination, this lack of perfection adds a refreshing element to the experience. It's refreshing to see such rawness in a world where everything is usually edited to perfection. But here's the thing. The show quickly became a target for criticism. Fans immediately slammed it as low budget and were frustrated by the influencer contestants. Even more controversial was the voting system, which relied on Google Documents and TikTok Live Gifts, where viewers had to pay real money to vote. The system felt more like a cash grab than a legitimate way to crown a winner. As the episodes rolled on, the backlash only grew, especially after contestant Dahlia revealed during her live broadcast that she had no idea votes were coming from paid gifts. She even apologized to fans, telling them they didn't have to vote. This added fuel to the fire. Then there's Kelly Kim, who constantly ranked at the top despite many viewers feeling her performances weren't impressive enough to deserve it. Some fans speculated there was favoritism because Kelly seemed connected to PI Corporation, the company behind the show, which also worked with MakeStar. The whole situation started to feel a little too shady, especially when technical issues kept cropping up throughout the show, from glitches during performances to voting problems. The voting system itself was another source of frustration. With the TikTok gifts, there was no limit on how much someone could donate, meaning contestants with rich fans had an unfair advantage. Some viewers wondered if this made the whole competition about who had the most money rather than who had the most talent. On top of that, there was no transparency about how the funds raised were being used, which only deepened suspicions. Then there's the whole influencer aspect of it. You had contestants with millions of followers going up against people with only a few thousand. Naturally, fans were worried that popularity was overshadowing genuine talent. Kelly Kim, for example, was more popular on TikTok than she was skilled at singing or dancing. That definitely didn't sit well with some viewers. The show's popularity may have been driven by influencer appeal, but it also raised questions about the fairness of the competition and whether the true essence of K-pop, talent and hard work, was being sidelined. And don't get me started on the relentless social media commentary. Contestants were under constant scrutiny, with even their facial expressions being dissected and criticized. It's clear that being on a show like this exposes people to an insane amount of negativity, and it's tough to balance that with trying to maintain a career in an industry that thrives on public perception. The show's finale aired on November 22nd, revealing the final lineup of the group. The 5 members who made the cut were Leia Navab Huening, the older sister of TXT's Huening Kai, Cleo, Sim Yerin, Lu Yuting, and Kelly Kim. Whether Time Turner is a one-off experiment or the future of how we discover K-pop idols, it's clear that the boundaries of the K-pop industry are expanding, and we're all just along for the ride.